Hi, Mop. Welcome to a new episode of Cooking in the Trenches. Today's menu, actually it's not a real menu, but today I will cook you a butter cake. A butter cake, yeah. Why butter cake? Well, that's a story. But some people ask me to tell more stories while I'm cooking. And you know, there's a story to tell about butter cake. Perhaps not specific butter cake, but the butter. Yeah. Butter is a hot item in this area. And I will tell you later why. Well, I've told you before what this is. Old border marker between Germany and the Netherlands. And in fact, this area is full of stories. Lots of history here and lots of stories to tell. I think it will take hours and hours and lots of episodes to tell you all the stories and all the history of this area. But there's one particular thing that might be interesting for you. It's known as the Butternacht, or der Butternacht, and that's German for the Butternight. Well, butter and dairy is an important thing in those days when there was a border. The Butternight. That might be interesting. Looks like the ranger is coming. I can ask him the way. Zoek de Boterweg. Boterweg is zo. Ja, hè? Ja. Oké. Ver? Oké. Well, you see that sign? It says Boterweg. That means Butterway or Butter Road. And there's a reason for that name. I will tell you soon. Welcome to a new episode of Cooking in the Trenches. Today I will make you a butter cake. Why a butter cake? Well, there's a reason for that, but I'll tell you later. First I get my gear, my Swedish army oven and some ingredients to make a butter cake. Flour, butter, sugar with an egg, and vanilla sugar. What I also can do, I wanted to use this plastic bag as a glove to keep my hands clean, but I also can do all the ingredients in this bag, and perhaps, or maybe, that's more easier to knead. Let's try that. And it keeps my pot clean. I should have done that before. Too easy, eh? bag. There's a little hole in here. Oh, that's bad. I think not a good idea. There's a hole in the bag. I tried to be clever. I thought it would be clever, but not a good idea to do it in a bag. Anyway, I have learned from this. I have learned from it. Don't ask me about quantities, I don't know. I just do it by feeling, by heart. Don't know if it is 60 grams or 100 grams or 20 grams, I don't know. Just do it. Alright. So, I'll leave that for a while. I'll let it rest. I've made the dough in this, but because this is also the lid of the oven, I have to clean it. I have to remove all that butter, all that fat out of it. I just boil a little bit of water, just enough to melt all the fat to clean that pot. In the meantime, that the buttercake is in the oven, I can tell you a story. People ask me to tell stories. Well, let's try to do it. That I make a buttercake is not without a reason. As you have seen, that road where I walked along, that was called the Boterweg. That's Dutch for butter road. Why the hell is it called butter road? Well, there's a story behind it. Because when the borderline was a real barrier, nowadays you can walk from one side to the other side. But only decades ago, that was forbidden. You could not pass the borderline. You could be prosecuted if you did so. And there were border patrols to prevent people from doing that. And people did it because in those days, Netherlands is famous or well known from its cheese. We have tulips, windmills and cheese. And cheese is a dairy. It's made from milk. And butter is also made from milk. Anyway, milk was very cheap in the Netherlands. We had lots of it. And in Germany, it was expensive. So it was good business to bring cheese and butter, and also coffee and machinery, to Germany. Because in Germany, it was more expensive. So that's why they start smuggling butter, cheese and coffee. And they try to bring it along the border. I've shown you that small village, Elton. Nowadays, that small village is German. It's situated in Germany. And in fact, it always had been. Except after World War II, Germany was divided into sections. And the well-known, or the best-known two sections are the eastern part, that was controlled by the Soviets, and the western part, that was controlled by the Allied forces. United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. But also after the war, the Netherlands, they wanted some compensation for everything that had happened by the Nazis during the war. But the Allied forces had no way to get financial compensation. The only compensation we can give is in nature. And what they did, they gave small parts of Germany to the Netherlands. And that small village, Elton, was given to the Netherlands. And that was in 1949. So 4 years after the war ended. Anyway, Elton became Dutch. Some compensation. And it was Dutch until 1963. What happened? In 1963, there were annexations. That means they were swapping lands. And that town, Elton, was given back to Germany. That happened in 1963, the 31st of July. So the last day of July, it was Dutch territory. And what happened? That whole town was filled with trucks and trailers. And they were loaded with butter and cheese and coffee. All that stuff that was very cheap in Holland, in the Netherlands, but very expensive in Germany. And the whole village, the whole village of Elton, there was, every meter was occupied by trucks and trailers and vans and cars and whatever, loaded with coffee and cheese and butter and everything. And even the houses, the attics and the cellars and the barns, they were loaded with butter and cheese and coffee. So what happened at midnight, the 1st of August, the town was German. And all the trucks and all that stuff was in Germany without passing the borderline. So Germany missed 50 to 60 billions of marks, money, lots of big money. And that night, that Elton switched from Dutch to German, loaded with all that heaps of butter, is known as the Butternacht. Well, and the only remainings of those days is that road, the Butter Road, Boterweg. Nice story, isn't it? Well, that's the story of the Butternight, the Butternacht. And that's why I'm having buttercake today. Well, I've told you that before. When you start smelling what you are cooking, it means it's done. It wants to get out. It's begging you, get me out, get me out. And now I smell buttercake. So it's done. I'm curious. Right. Look at that, man. Beautiful. Really delicious. Well, this was cooking in the trenches for to die. Hope to see you next time with another recipe, another cooking and another story. Cheers mates.